This is a Hot Pie Media original.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the DNP-CD Sports podcast presented by OddsShark. I'm Chad Fisher alongside my co-host, Tony Farmer. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. We're right in the middle of the NFL, not really the middle, but in the heat of the NFL season. Lovely time of year. We're interviewing two awesome basketball coaches today, so I'm excited about the show.
I'm excited too, brother. We're talking to two guys that made the tournament last year. We're just going to be talking to the Eastern Washington new head coach, David Riley. And then also a guy I've always admired and wanted to talk to, Coach Mike Rhoades from VCU.
Yeah, it's going to be cool because I think they're very different from each other. Yeah. I mean, we haven't talked to them yet, but from what I understand, one's a little bit more old school, Coach Rhoades, and then Coach Riley's kind of a brand new head coach, babyface. You know, they're they seem to take very different approaches. So it'll be cool to get two different perspectives on coaching and get some insight into their programs. Yeah, and VCU is a program that has been really good for a long time, and they're kind of transitioning from mid-major to major program. You know, the success they had under Shaka Smart. Mike Rhoades was an assistant under Shaka Smart. And so it's going to be interesting to talk to him and just see how their program's changed. For sure, man. It's going to be a fun show. And before we have Chad tell folks about OddsShark, our lead sponsor on the show, I just wanted to kind of acknowledge in the middle of this episode, for those of you who are watching on YouTube, you're going to see the background change at some point. We had a couple of really good interviews last week. And just in order to kind of package it into one show, the background's going to change. But miraculously, we're going to be wearing the same clothes. Yeah, you'll be okay. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Just pretend you don't notice. Yeah, for sure. But let's talk about OddsShark, because they are your source for the latest odds from leading authorities, expert editorial content, the hottest sports news, and detailed matchup picks. Are you looking for statistics and trends for an upcoming game? OddsShark has that too, and it's free. In-depth expert analysis, odds, and trends to help you make the sharp game day picks. They've got decades of stats in their databases, and their insiders give you takes so hot they sizzle. That's hot. They're your one-stop shop for all your odds info on sports and pop culture events. So if you want to get a better understanding of the odds and the math behind the numbers, how the line is set, why the lines move during the week on the NFL odds list, OddsShark will give you all the tools you need. They are a proven industry powerhouse. OddsShark has info from around the globe, giving you the chance to access the best sports odds on the planet. Whether you want to check out tonight's football odds, this week hockey or basketball trends, or anything in between, head on over to OddsShark and start thinking like a shark today. Yeah, man, we love OddsShark. They're our lead sponsor on this show. They've been really good to us over the short time that we've existed. And we're going to be using their website, literally using it directly later in the show when we do an NFL preview and start previewing week 4 lines, over-unders, things like that. So, we're going to be real-time using it on our laptops. Yeah, for sure. Well, we're going to get into these interviews. Can't wait to talk to these coaches. They've got very interesting seasons coming up. Had a lot of success last year. It's going to be interesting to see how they see their team coming together, coalescing this year, too. Yeah, man. So Coach Rhoades is up first. Our guest today is entering his 5th season as head coach of the VCU Rams. He was also the head coach at Rice from 2014 to 2017. This is his second stint with VCU, where he was an assistant coach under Shaka Smart from 2009 to 2014. And his second season as head coach of the Rams, he won the school's first outright Atlantic 10 title. And that season, he was named the A-10 Conference Coach of the Year. Last season, he led the Rams to a 19-7 record and an appearance in the NCAA tournament as a 10 seed. As a collegiate head coach, he's already won 324 games, and his team looks to be pretty damn good coming into this year as well. We're excited to welcome to the DNP-CD Sports podcast the head coach of the VCU Rams, Mike Rhoades. How you doing, Coach? Thanks for coming on the show.
Great, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're really excited, Coach. You were an assistant. I gotta put this in here. You were an assistant on that 2011 VCU team that made it to the Final Four. Anytime I get an opportunity to bring this up in conversation, I always do. I want to let you know that I was probably the only person in the country that picked y'all to go to the Final Four that year. Now, I got to be honest with you. I might have filled out my bracket half drunk, but I still had y'all in there. So I think that's all that matters, right?
Hey, there might have been some people in that committee half drunk when they picked us. So I get it. I'm not judging you. My kids didn't pick us to go to the Final Four, so at least I know there's somebody that did it.
Yeah, that was me, Coach, for sure. But seriously, look, can you tell me what that Final Four run did for the VCU program? You guys were one of the first 4 teams in, and obviously it wasn't just about one fluke season. You've been building that program up for many years. But what has that done for that organization?
Yeah, I mean, just like you said, we've always been good, right? There's so many great coaches coaches in the past, so many great players, guys that made the NBA, and VCU's always been that rugged, up and down the court type of team. The neat thing during 2011, it was how we brought everybody together, and everyone felt a part of it and jumping on our wagon. So that part really helped. But it just sort of gave us somewhat of a national brand, and people want to watch our style of play and the way Coach Smart ran the program, even after 2011, made us a place that people wanted to be familiar with.
Before you got to Rice, the program had gone a combined 12-49 in the previous seasons, and in just your third season, you led the team to 23-win season. What's been the key to that success there at Rice? What was the key?
Well, when I took that job, people said, "What are you doing? That's dead end. You're crazy." And honestly, the AD really wanted me. Some other people from Rice really wanted me, and you want to go where you're wanted. And I bet on myself, right? I bet on our staff, and I asked them to make a commitment to it, that we bring in the right assistant coaches to build it the right way. And I loved my 3 years in Houston. I ate a lot of barbecue and brisket, but I loved it. I loved the people. The traffic in Houston wasn't cool at all, but trying to build that thing at Rice, we found basketball players that were serious about academics. They lived in the gym if they weren't in the library, and very quickly we turned it around because we got after it.
You mentioned you finding great players and the assistant coaches. There's got to be more to it than that. What's kind of that recipe? I mean, what were some of your points of emphasis when you were there? Well,
number one is, I don't want to hear we can't do that or we don't do that. I don't want to hear it. I want to hear if and that was what Joe Carlgard was the AD, and his big thing was, tell us how to build a program from scratch and how to do it the right way. And so, my line was to he and Rick Mellon, assistant AD, don't you guys want to go to the NCAA tournament? That's the goal, right? We got to do this. We got to do that. And I have a D3 mentality and in the grind. So it wasn't about abusing anything. It was just things we needed to do, decisions we needed to make. And when we got on the court, it didn't matter if you're at Rice, VCU, Texas, it doesn't matter. Can you play or can't you?
Yeah.
So that mentality was, when we're on the court, we got 40 minutes together. We're going to show everybody we can play. So I sort of brought that, the ruggedness of how I grew up. I sort of share that with my teammates, and you got to have a level of toughness and not give in, right? You can't quit. And don't tell me you can't have a winning team at a school that has high academics. That's one reason why I wanted to go there. Let's see if we can do it there. And we did, but we did it in a fun way too, because we did have, our style of play. We were shooting a lot of threes. We were getting up and down. We were pressing with some dudes that don't look like pressers. That was fun. And we just made belief, but you got to outwork people, and you got to believe in what you do.
Yeah. And you guys definitely did there. I want to ask you, Coach, about some of the talented freshmen you got coming into the program this year. You got Jalen Deloach, Nick Kern, and Jaden Nunn. Nunn is a 6'4" guy out of Flint. He came to VCU, spurning Kansas, Butler, Arizona State. What do you expect from those guys in their first year, and how do you expect them to contribute?
Well, Jalen Nunn, I've been doing this 25 years, and he's been one of the first freshmen, one of the best freshmen, I should say, that's gotten off such a good start.
Wow.
He can play, man. But what he does better than anything is he listens, and he's coachable. Jalen Deloach is a 6'9", versatile big guy. His sister ran track at Ohio State. His brother's an outside linebacker at Florida State. So there's great genes from mom and dad, and he's a high motor big guy. He's going to get better and better. And then Nick Kern from St. Louis, great high school coach. Bashan's a great program, knows what winning's all about, and he's gonna help us. Those three guys are going to help us because they compete at a high level, and they're very coachable.
Yeah. Coach Nunn was an elite bowler, which I didn't know. This was crazy. As a 12-year-old, he finished 7th at a national tournament with some of the world's best bowlers. It's crazy to think that he could be pounding chili dogs and wearing terrible outfits while bowling, but instead he decided to play for you. That's great,
so
right?
We took the team bowling this summer. This is no joke here. We took the team bowling this summer, and we always do it. We have a blast most of the time because we're making fun of each other, how bad of bowlers these guys are. Not Jay Nunn. He has that English on it. He's doing all this crazy stuff with it. He's so serious and all that. I just told him, you're not allowed to bring your own ball. Don't bring your own shoes or your own ball. We're not doing that. But man, high level, his whole family that's what they did as a young family. They went and they bowled, and his brother bowled in college. I didn't even know you do that. Yeah. And his brother bowled in college. So we're not letting him bowl with the guys anymore if he comes. He's got to go to the pro lane down the street.
What was his reaction when you told him he couldn't bring his own ball? Was he cool with it? Did he understand?
Well, he started laughing at me like, yeah, whatever, coach. I said, I hope you didn't bring it to your dorm room. I said, you tell coaches don't bring your golf clubs when they come work for you. I had to tell him don't bring his bowling ball.
I don't blame you. That's smart.
Oh, I love it. Switching gears a little bit. What can you tell us about Bones Highland? He had a great couple of years at VCU. He was the A10 Player of the Year and was selected 26th overall by the Nuggets. Can you give us any insight into him, like what his personality is like, and how proud of him are you?
If he was on this interview and it would be the four of us, he'd start running the show. He'd start asking the questions. He has a joy for life, and he has a joy for basketball. My 25 years, I don't know if I've ever been around somebody that loves the game of basketball and just being in the gym, even if it's by himself, as much as Bones. As you see the interviews, you watch him, some people think it comes across cocky. No, not at all. It's just him. He has a zest for life in basketball, and he loves to share it. He's a very talented kid in whatever he can do. If he stopped basketball today and wanted to do something and put his mind to it, it'd be impressive. So you would love to be around him because he gives you energy. We always talk about in our program, we want juice makers, right? People that give others juice. I mean, he naturally is a juice maker, and it's pretty cool. You should see him around young people. I mean, he'd be a heck of a elementary school teacher. Now the walls wouldn't be able to contain him even as a teacher, but he would be awesome. He is so cool. Just you get him on an interview. When you would get off the interview, you guys would be shaking your head like, was that real?
That's crazy.
That's just Bones.
If you ever talk to Bones, let him know. We want to get him on the show, man. That'd be great. We'd love to. No
problem. Yeah. We'll make it work.
Coach, last year you guys made the tournament as a 10 seed, and I had y'all winning a couple games. Unfortunately, there were some COVID problems, and that game had to end up being a no contest. How difficult was that to inform your team about that? What was that conversation like? And does that make you hungrier coming into this year?
I could say this on a podcast. It just sucked. It just sucked. We did such a great job from the summer all the way through. We didn't have one player. We had our walk-on in July, get it. No players all the way until we got to Indianapolis. Think about that. Damn. We had 2 support staff, get it. Guys did a great job of, they just wanted to hoop. They just wanted to play basketball. And we got lucky, of course, but they did a great job. And then, we lose to St. Bonaventures. We test 3 straight days in the bubble. And I'm thinking, hey, we're good. 3 straight days, negative tests. It's time to hoop. And, then they knock on one player's door, knock on another, and that was it. And then, it was a snowball effect. So it just stunk to tell Bones and to tell the team that their NCAA dream of playing this year is over. It just sucked and devastating. And the only thing I told them is, guys, you could handle this and react any way you want to. I said, but nobody did anything wrong. And if we're going to go through this, let's go through it together. And then we just, we moved on. Some guys were in quarantine. Some guys went home. We had 10 days, like a break, almost a spring break. We came back and got back in the gym.
I don't blame you.
Coach, you've been at VCU for a while. Your team's going to be playing in the battle for Atlantis this year with some of the blue blood programs in the country. You're a premier program, and that's evident in your scheduling. Kind of what's your mindset going into this tough schedule and these tough games you've got?
Win, right? Go after these guys. This is what look, the one thing I will say now than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago, our guys have played against all these guys on these other teams of the Blue Bloods because they play high-level AAU basketball through so many years. Some of them are friends with them because of how much they play in the same gyms. So our guys know people. We know people. It's an honor to be on a court with a Blue Blood, but we're not there to shake hands. We want to win. And we've always had that mentality of VCU, even if we're the underdog. Sort of the swag we have. I love that. If you do your homework on me, and our guys know this, We'll play anybody, anytime, anywhere, because that's what competition is supposed to bring the best out of everybody. And I love that. And my career record's not going to be on my headstone. So I don't give a damn. Like, this is what's fun about college basketball, and you guys enjoy those games.
Yep.
Let's try to play the best teams we can and some great events and see what happens.
And you definitely are this year. Coach, last couple of questions here for you, and we'll let you go. I know the season hasn't started yet, but I'm sure you got a good grasp on your squad. You're returning 5 of your top 6 scorers from a year ago. What do you think you guys going to be really good at this year, and what are you looking to improve upon going into camp?
Well, we're definitely going to be really deep. We're going to be really deep. We're going to be able to play, 10 plus guys a night. So we could play super hard and be physical and tough and fly around. What is going to hurt us from the start? Of course, losing a guy like Bones, but Ace Baldwin is out for a number of games. He tore his Achilles in May. We're saying January 1 return. We'll see if it's, around there. If Ace is sort of, he's the guy that, he's our quarterback, man, without a doubt. He's our competitive leader. So, but I'm excited with Vince Williams leading the way, and Ace will get back with us. So, we're going to have a lot of question marks with some new guys, but I'm having a blast coaching these guys. I think they're pretty good. They play well together. We compete. And I think, that's sort of the biggest formula, stick together and compete. So we may take a couple lumps, but I think you're going to like the product that we have on the court for sure. I think we're going to be a lot of fun to watch too.
Yeah, you always are. I've always enjoyed watching this team, especially because you guys have always been known for that defensive pressure, that full court press, playing, full game just right in your face, as the old Arkansas teams used to call it 40 minutes of hell. It's a lot like that, it seems like. That's going to be a lot of more, your identity is going to be tied to that a lot this year too, Coach? Yeah, we're going to press. We want to make everybody uncomfortable, but we also, one thing you've seen, all my teams that everywhere I've been, we want to sit down in half court and guard you and make it very uncomfortable as well, but we are still going to press and trap. We have a lot of guys, we're long and athletic. At all the positions, and I think that could really help us even more defensively. The number one key is don't turn the ball over. The last 2 years, we just had too higher percentage of turnover rate. And we take the ball from you, we can't give it back right away. So, we got to make sure it's our number one goal this season. We got to be below that, our turnover percentage rate, our goal, and not give it back. So and if we do that, we'll make it even harder for our opponents.
My last question for you, Coach. I'm curious how you go about motivating college athletes. I work with college students for 9 years on the administrative side of things in residence life. And it's an interesting time to be working with college students. I mean, you got social media influences these days. We've had some guests on who have said that the younger generation is a little softer than their generation and things of that. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but how do you go about motivating this generation of student athletes?
Well, I have 14, 18 to 22-year-olds, and then I have a 17, 15, and a 13-year-old home. So I will tell you how I am, and I let everyone know this. I am brutally honest. But sometimes my wife says to a fault. But the one thing that I can be in these people's life, including my three kids, is tell them the truth. Right? In the world we live in now, everybody's sensitive. Everybody has an opinion, this and that. I'm going to tell you the truth. You're not good enough, but you can get there. If you're going to make those decisions, it's going to affect this. That's how I can love my team and my players, and how I can love my 3 kids at home, is tell them the truth. No, I was there. We don't always like the truth, and it hurts sometimes. But if it's the truth by somebody that knows more than you, that could really help you. So that's number one. That's awesome. The guys all know that. I got to spend a lot of time with them. Yeah, tell them the truth, right? That's not awesome. Good enough. You're better than that. You got to communicate better, but show them why. Just give them the why. Show them how. And then this toughness part. Yeah, maybe we kids weren't allowed to express themselves, so it seems softer or more sensitive. So it is what it is, right? What are we going to do? Just keep saying the world's getting softer, or what's our input? How can we impact them? So I always say, your emotional toughness. What's your emotional toughness? Getting your mind to get through something that is tough, that is adversity. It's the same thing with physical toughness, right? So we talk about that all the time. You got to have mental, emotional, and physical toughness. So, my dad was an old school football coach in Pennsylvania in the 70s, was a principal. He was an ass kicker.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that in me. I get it. I tell the truth. But while you're telling the truth, you can love them too and listen to them. But you just don't give in to that. They have enough people telling them how great they are, that it's okay, that they don't want to tell them the truth because they don't want to lose them. I'm the other way around. That's just how let me tell you the truth so we can get to a place that you want to go. So these guys all have goals, right?
Yep.
Do your decisions every day match your goals? If not, I'm going to tell you the truth. And let's hopefully that you could see it yourself when we get there. So that's how we do it at VCU. That's how I've always done it, and go from there.
It's refreshing. I'm feeling motivated just sitting here listening to you right now,
Coach,
man.
I was just about to say that. You said Bones Highland gets you juiced up. You're getting me juiced up. So I want to tell you, Coach, I got all my eligibility left. If you're ever in the market for a 37-year-old 6'3" point guard that exclusively plays in the mid-range and never passes, hit me up. I got you.
Hey, that sounds like me, but I'll be 49 tomorrow. So
you can probably take me, Coach, because I know you played at Lebanon. You led the team to a Division III national title. I know you still got some game, right?
A little bit. If it's half court 3-on-3, I do. But we get the full court, man. The back starts hurting.
That's what. Yeah, I got you. That's when the hips and the knees start hurting right there.
You know, I know you can't press, but if you could hit the 3, I'll sign you up.
Coach, let me know. You just got to give me like 4 or 5 months notice because it takes me that long to get in shape. You know.
We'll get you there. June and July.
Coach, this was awesome. This was great. Make sure you give him a follow on Twitter. He is at Coach Rhoades. Coach, we really appreciate you coming on the show. You're an awesome guy. We're going to be rooting for you big time. I'm going to be watching a lot of your games this year and definitely rooting for you guys.
I appreciate you guys. Keep doing your thing and keep impacting, man. It'd be fun.
Definitely, Coach. We'd love to have you on after the season, after you guys make another Final Four run and talk to you then.
That's the plan.
Awesome.
You got it. Anytime.
Thanks, Coach. We appreciate it. All right, we're super proud to announce that the DNP-CD Sports podcast is now sponsored by BetterHelp. That's Better, H-E-L-P. Is there something interfering with your happiness or is preventing you from achieving your goals? I know that, as I've spoken before, I've been going to therapy for a year and a half now. It's one of the best decisions I've ever made. It's helped me in so many areas of my life, and I couldn't recommend it more highly. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You can start communicating in under 48 hours, and this is not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional therapy done securely online.
Yeah, there's a broad range of expertise available that these counselors have. They may not be locally available to you, but they are through BetterHelp. The service is available to clients worldwide, doesn't matter where you live, and you can log into your account anytime and send a message to your therapist. That includes 3 a.m. You'll get a timely and thoughtful response. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. You won't ever have to sit in an uncomfortable, stuffy waiting room as you do with traditional therapy.
Yeah, BetterHelp is committed to facilitating great therapeutic matches, so they make it easy and free to change therapists if needed. It's more affordable than traditional offline therapy, and financial aid is available. BetterHelp wants you to start living a happier life today. That's betterhelp.com.
Yeah, you can visit their website and read the testimonials that are posted on there literally every single day. I know anytime I buy a product or a service, I want to actually hear from people who have actually used that product or service. And so if you're like me and you want to do that, you can go to BetterHelp's website. That's betterhelp.com/reviews. You can visit betterhelp.com/DNP. That's betterhelp.com/DNP, the name of our show. And you can join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health with the help of an experienced professional.
Yeah, BetterHelp is becoming so popular, and becoming so popular, in fact, that they are recruiting additional therapists in all 50 states. We also have a special offer for our listeners. You can get 10% off your first month by going to betterhelp.com/DNP, as in did not play. You're going to get 10% off your first month. That's an awesome deal.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So make sure you check them out. betterhelp.com. All right, our guest today is entering his first year as head coach at Eastern Washington University. He was the lead assistant coach at EWU, and the Eagles made the NCAA tournament as a 14 seed last year. Losing to Kansas in a tightly contested battle in which they led most of the game. We're super excited to welcome to the DNP-CD Sports podcast, Coach David Riley. Coach, thanks for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Very excited to be here.
Yeah, definitely. There's so much to get to, you being new on the job and everything. I know that you're super young. In fact, I found out that you're the 6th youngest coach in Division I, and you still got a baby face. I feel like you would get carded for driving a moped, man. What's good?
I got to grow this thing out.
Just a little bit. But I wanted to ask you, what's it like to be the head coach at Eastern Washington at such a young age? I know it's been several months since you took over and you were named as the head coach, but has that set in yet?
It's starting to.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, I've been here 10 years. I got here right out of college. So I've got some experience at the university and really, understand how things are run. And I've been a part of some successful programs. So it's been, I'm young, but at the same time, I think with the experience that I have here, I've got some good things to lean on. And then we've been successful. So I may not know a bunch of different ways to do things, but I know one way that works.
Yeah.
For sure. Your family has a history in coaching. Your grandfather was a coach. Your uncle, Mike Rhoades, was the head coach of the San Diego Chargers, Oregon State, and then at Nebraska, where I think he got a raw deal. Your brother just recently joined John Harbaugh's staff John Harbaugh's staff. Thank you. With the Baltimore Ravens. How has your family history prepared you to be a head coach?
Good question. I mean, my dad's a doctor, so we were raised in the non-sports, or less sports side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And the rest of them are all football guys. So first of all, shout out to the Ravens last night with the gutsy 4th down play call.
Yeah.
That was fun to watch. My brother's a big analytics guy. So he texted me after the game. I still want to call him and ask whether it was a numbers decision or it was really just Harbaugh. Asked him if he wanted to go for it.
Yeah, get the inside story there for sure.
I'm a huge University of Michigan fan, so the Harbaughs are very well loved and respected around here for sure. I love that call as well last night. Coach, obviously you're taking over a successful program. You guys won the Big Sky Conference tournament last year. I want to know what your team identity is going to be. I've read that you said that you want to space the floor, you want to play up tempo and shoot a lot of threes. But what are some of the things that you're going to change or that you think that the team can improve upon? And what is it that you want? How is it that you want to put your stamp on the team?
Well, I kind of took a lot of the offense over the last few years, and so that's not going to change too much. We're going to play fast. We're going to play an open style. We're going to really rely on the players to make decisions. I think that's a huge part that in college basketball I think is not developed enough, is the IQ of the game and letting guys make decisions out there. You go watch European basketball and and then the NBA, those guys are making the plays and the coaches are putting them in the space to do it. And so if we can develop our guys' IQ and also recruit smart players, I think it's a huge advantage. And so that's going to be our biggest thing offensively and defensively too, is just relying on IQ and understanding the game. And to be honest with you, there's not going to be a huge philosophical change. Shante was great about really giving everyone an opportunity on the staff to make decisions, and we kind of came to everything together. So we're going to keep that same thing. We got different personnel. We don't have Tanner Groves out there MVP right now in the post, and the year before that it was Mason Peatling in the post. So personnel wise, it might change, but at the end of the day, I think we're going to stick to our guns and kind of play the same way. Yeah,
we're going to get into a little bit here in a little bit about the personnel and everything like that and how that's changed coming into this year. I want to talk real quick about the tournament last year. You guys led Kansas for most of that game. I remember watching that game, but unfortunately you came up short. What do you think that you as a university, as a team, what can you guys take from that game and build on coming into this year?
Well, I mean, first of all, we were right there with them. We led most of the game, and it wasn't a fluke. We weren't just hitting crazy shots. We were just playing our style and playing the right way. So I think it should give us some confidence that if we go in and do what we're supposed to do, we can go hang with anyone. And we kind of proved that early on in the year. I know we lost those games too against Arizona and Oregon and Washington State, but we were right there and led most of those games too. So I think just understanding the physicality and then those little detail plays down the stretch, that's what's going to go win you games. And so our guys got some experience doing that. Can we carry that over and try to go make a run next year in the future? That's the plan.
You guys put up over 80 points against Kansas too. So, I mean, it's definitely not a fluke. You don't score 84 points with it's just a fluke,
Yeah,
for sure. You said that Gonzaga is kind of a blueprint for what you guys want to do. What specific aspects of their program are there that you want to kind of emulate?
Well, there's a lot to aspire to. They're, arguably the best team in the country over the last 5-10 years. It's just super impressive how they did it. They did it organically. They started off with a lot of in-state guys. They got some Europeans, some international guys. They really rely on development. They get guys there and they get them better. And they also play, a really high IQ brand of basketball. They obviously that Baylor game, they got out physical a little bit. But besides that, it's just they're going to outsmart you. They're going to take what the defense gives you. And so I think some of those things for sure. And just watching what they did 20 years ago, they were a regular mid-major, arguably low-major program. I guess more than 25 years ago.
Yeah.
And they just built it up and built on success. And Mark Few did a great job of really understanding what kind of guys work there and what kind of guys fit their system and how to adjust. So there's a lot of things to take from them. Hopefully we can just pick and choose a few things. You can't do all of them at once, but they're a fun team to watch and a fun program to watch grow.
You definitely want to emulate those conference championships and those run of the Final Fours and everything. That'd be nice, right? For sure.
Yeah.
But Coach, you spent the last 10 seasons at Eastern Washington. You started as a graduate assistant at just 22 years old. I'll tell you, you don't even want to know what I was doing at 22. Okay, I was probably, I'll be honest, I was probably posted up at some kids' soccer games, scouting the local single mothers. I'm not gonna lie. But I want to know, when you came on as a grad assistant, did you ever envision becoming the head coach at Eastern Washington?
To be honest, when I was 22, I had just finished playing at Whitworth. I was hoping to go play overseas that summer. I was working out and I thought I was good enough to go play, and some of the offers weren't what I expected them to be. And so I kind of just jumped into the GA role because I knew I wanted to get into coaching, and I had no idea what was going on that first year. I just knew I had to work super hard, get guys, help guys be successful in any way I could, and just do everything every single job that I could. And I wasn't really thinking big picture that year, to be honest. And then after that first year, I was like, all right, how do I want to grow as a coach? What's the next step? And then I started learning about all the networking stuff. You got to go to the Final Four to meet people, and it's just so many more aspects to it than I had ever envisioned. And so, yeah, after a couple of years, when I really fell in love with Eastern, for sure, this has been something I wanted to do, and just I think it's a great spot, and as a school, as a location in the Northwest, and then as a basketball program, it's just got a lot going for it.
Mm-hmm.
Coach, can you give us some insight into your coaching style? What are going to be your points of emphasis this year with your players and your coaches, and what do you think kind of makes you a little unique or different, or maybe sets you apart from some other coaches out there?
Well, I think I got to understand that I'm not going to have all the answers. There's definitely a lot more coaches that are more experienced and know a lot more about hoops and personalities and all that. But if I can create an environment where we got our 3 assistants, we got our ops guy, we got our grad assistants, and we got 8 or 9 guys all in a room helping make decisions. If we can kind of have that group mind and really, really actually let everyone have a voice, then we can kind of compete and use all that together to compete with some of these guys that have more experience. And then the same thing goes with the players. Like if our huddles shouldn't be me talking 90% and the other guys talking 10%. I want it to be sporadic, like everyone have an input. Because at the end of the day, we understand our holistic system. And so everyone can kind of pitch in and talk about what they see, and then have a game plan moving forward. So I just think really focusing on just that group mentality and having everyone bought in and not having an ego. Everyone's got an ego, but
sure,
yeah,
cutting down that ego a little bit. That's kind of my goal with this thing. And again, like our style plays into that, right? It's not, we have really 3 plays that we run 95% of the game. Like obviously we're going to run some plays if we're up 7 with 2 to go, or we need to slide that out of bounds or something. Mm-hmm. We'll have that stuff in place, but we're going to play concept basketball. And so we need everyone to be bought in and understand the whole of what we're doing. And I think that's a fun way to coach. And it's, yeah, those guys that can then call a play and get this guy a shot and get that guy a shot and manipulate the game like it's a chess game, that's impressive to me. I don't think I could do that.
Yeah.
but it's going to be fun to see how this works. And that's what we've done. I mean, that's what Shantae was so good at the last 4 years, and we've kind of developed that system.
It sounds like it's going to be a program that kids are going to love to play for when they get this input and they get some freedom and everything like that. I can see you continuing that success there. I want to know, Coach, because of your success at Eastern Washington, because of the success that program's had, you've had a few guys transfer to bigger schools in the last few years. The transfer portal presents a unique set of problems for schools like Eastern Washington, and you're kind of a victim of your own success, right? I want to get your opinion on that. And then also, what's your opinion on the transfer portal? Is it okay as is, or does some changes need to be made?
So I'll start with the first one. I think, when there's a coaching change like there was, and there was the whole period where we didn't have a coach and was kind of figuring out what the process was for hiring me. And during that time, those guys are getting blown up and realizing, okay, well, I do have this opportunity to go to a bigger school. There's a lot of change at Eastern Washington. And that all played into those guys leaving and going, chasing different opportunities. And it's great. Like two guys, like Tanner came in, we were his only offer. Now he's at Oklahoma. Jake Groves came in as a walk-on. 2 years later, he's on scholarship at Oklahoma. Same thing with Kim. No offers. Now he's at Arizona. So these guys came in and developed. And there's a lot to be proud of for us and for those guys, because they worked their tail off to get there. But I don't think that necessarily happens if we don't have a coaching change and there's just stability within the program and those guys are bought in on making another run. So at the end of the day, you got to keep your guys happy. It's just the nature of the deal where the grass is always going to be greener. There's going to be bigger schools. There's bigger opportunities. However you want to look at it, people might leave, and we just got to do our best job showing that this is a great place to be. You're going to develop. You can achieve everything you want to achieve here. And I think that's our guys' mindset going into it. Now it's just a lot different than it was, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago, where there was all the rules on transferring. It's a whole new process. There's going to be pros and cons to it. I don't know what all the negative aspects are going to be going forward and the positive aspects. So I kind of have to wait and see. I think with everything changed so drastically, there's some things going to have to change here in a couple of years. I have no idea, but I'm cool with it, giving the players some more power, and now it's on the coaches to treat their kids right and make sure they understand like they got something pretty good here, and convince them not to leave. Recruit your own players.
Yeah. We want to transition. Last couple of questions here for you, Coach. We want to transition into talking about this coming season. And as we're talking about the transfer portal, you guys have actually gotten some relief from the transfer portal, though, this year. You got Rylan Burgesson, who transferred in. He averaged 17 points per game last year at Central Arkansas. What do you expect out of him this season? And for people that don't know him and aren't familiar with him, what's his game like?
He's an all-around player. And he averaged 17 points a game, but he averaged like 4 assists a game too, four something. And he can really pass, super high IQ, extremely tough. They weren't as successful last year. They had some injuries, but just the way he plays is just a complete package. And so I think within our offense, where he can post up, take guys off the dribble, shoot threes, come off ball screens, he's going to really thrive. So I'm excited about him coming in and being a leader right off the bat. His dad's an assistant coach with us.
Oh, okay. There you go. So you got an in. There's a little package.
Nice.
A little 2-for-1 action there. That's what I'm talking about.
For sure.
Coach, last question here. You guys have a tough non-conference schedule. You guys don't shy away from playing a tough non-conference schedule. This year, you're going to be playing at Washington State, at Colorado, and at Texas Tech. Those are some really tough games, but you guys expect not only to compete in those games, but you expect to win, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Like we talk about going and making an NCAA tournament run and going to the NCAA tournament and winning a conference championship. To do that, you got to go into those early season games expecting to compete and have a chance to go win it. So it's a great test for us. Like, we're not going to face the length that Texas Tech has in the Big Sky. That's just not realistic. But if we can go compete with that, then we'll be more prepared going into a team like Southern Utah or Weber State that does have some length and athleticism. And it's such a great way to prepare. It's a good experience for our guys. They get to go play on a big stage, and they all enjoy it. So it'll be a fun preseason. I've never been to Lubbock, so we'll see what it's all about.
It's not much to look at. I'm gonna be honest. I did a comedy show there. I could not leave fast enough. You know what I mean? And once you go see the little Buddy Holly thing, the little Buddy Holly tribute thing they got going on, then you can get out of town.
Is that the main attraction?
And you want to get out of there before you get shot at too. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Okay. But make sure you give him a follow on Twitter. He is at DRiley15. Coach, we really appreciate you coming on the show. We're obviously going to be rooting for you big time this year. We can't wait to see what you guys accomplish, and we're expecting big things from you guys this year. We know with that program, and we believe in you. We think it's not going to stop. You guys are just going to keep on going. Hopefully, it's another Big Sky Conference championship in your future.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much for having me on.
Thanks, Coach. We
Thanks
appreciate
so much,
it.
man.
Yep.
Take care.
Please. All right, we're going to get into our betting segment presented by OddsShark now.
Yeah, Chad, how crazy was week 3, the NFL games?
It was wild, man. It was so many good games, so many crazy endings, so many close games as well. It was really exciting.
That Ravens-Lions game.
I'd be so pissed. You and I were talking about this off air. I'd be so pissed if I was a Lions fan because the play before when they were trying to waste the last couple seconds or whatever and they threw that out route and Lamar Jackson just threw the ball out of bounds, there's a clear as day delay a game.
No
penalty.
doubt. No doubt.
There's 2 to 3 seconds past double zeros. The officials didn't notice that. How you have a league that makes billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, that's worth hundreds of billions of dollars, and they don't have a guy looking at the play clock is beyond me. I would be incensed if I was a Detroit Lions fan.
Yeah, how much money would it cost to put a guy in stripes who's, at every game, and his only job is to stare at that play clock and blow the damn whistle.
Yeah.
The frustrating thing about this, I understand that when I watch sporting events, the officiating is not going to be perfect every time. I get it. The fact is, this has happened before.
Yeah.
This is not new.
Yeah.
This has been a problem before. It was more egregious this time because it seemed like 2 seconds, and it's usually like a half second, you know? But this has been a complaint in the past. They've not fixed the issue, and then we see it in a game like this. Imagine if this was a playoff game, Chad.
Oh, dude.
Imagine if this was during the Bucks-Patriots game this Sunday. I think the fact that it happened in week 3 and it was Ravens-Lions is a godsend to the NFL because they'd be getting even more criticism if it wasn't.
And you talk about how the referees aren't infallible. We understand that, but this is a rule that's black and white.
Yeah.
Double zeros, yes. 1 second, no.
Yeah.
It's black and white. You can pay someone $50,000 a year to watch these games.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so that's one of the rules that is black and white, and they screwed up on it. I would be incensed if I was a Lions fan. I'm incensed because I'm a Browns fan. These assholes just won a game. You know what I'm saying? So,
I'm incensed because in that survivor pool that I mentioned a couple shows ago with a $6 million prize pool, I didn't take the Ravens, and 340 people did and survived and advanced because of that bullshit call and then the crazy 66-yard field goal. It was just a wild week, you guys. We had that, they're calling it a kick 6 when you return a field goal for a touchdown in the Jaguars game. That was absolutely wild. The Sunday night game, the 49er Packer game with Aaron Rodgers getting the ball with 37 seconds left, that was insane as well. It was just a wild week,
it was,
man. There was so much going on for sure. I mean, and that's why I love NFL Sundays, man. I got the Sunday ticket package on my tablet, and I'm just bouncing between games. And there's so much going on at once. My heart rate's going up. It's beautiful. Yeah. It's a beautiful time.
For sure, man. Let's get into some of the odds for this week.
Yeah, man. Thursday night, we've got Jacksonville 7.5-point underdogs at Cincinnati. I think Jacksonville is a disaster, and I think at some point they probably will wake up and maybe surprise you later in the season. I don't think it's going to happen on the road in 4 days. They're going to get their act together.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I would take Cincinnati in this game.
Yeah, you like Cincinnati to cover. I'm probably not going to touch it, but this is going to be a sneaky survivor pool pick for a lot of people, I think, for Cincinnati just to win the game. Absolutely love it. Tease down 6.5 points so that Cincinnati just needs to win by 1 in order to cover one leg of a teaser. So not going to bet the side, but love Cincinnati tease down for sure. Next, we've got Detroit at Chicago. Detroit is a 3-point dog in this game at Chicago. What are your thoughts there, Chad?
Dude, I really like the way Detroit's been playing. It seems like they're playing hard. It seems like they respect and admire their new coach, Dan Campbell. I like that guy a lot. I just watched the Browns play the Bears this weekend, and the Bears look like shit. Matt Nagy needs to go. That dude doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He didn't have any type of game plan for Justin Fields. It looked atrocious. It looked worse than what the final score was. which I believe was 26-6. They didn't really have anything going on. Their best play of the game, I think, was a pass interference call. I don't like the way Chicago's playing right now. And I don't like the way their coach coaches. I don't like that guy at all. I think this is going to be his last year there. They should have fired his ass last year, in my opinion. So I'm surprised that he's still around. But he will not be there next year, and I think that losing this game is going to go a long way in determining that. He might be let go after this game, to be honest with you, because they're going to get beat by the Lions, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the Lions react to a game like that. You could see a game like that just demoralizing you and you checking out, and you can also see a game like that galvanizing the team and bringing them together. I think I've mentioned on this show before that, but when these lines come out, I do my own handicapping and I guess what I think the line, not guess, I have a formula for what I think the line is going to be. I had this as a pick'em, and the fact that I'm getting 3 points here with Detroit tells me this is a good sprinkle for a money line bet here. For sure.
I would
so I'm with you on that as well.
Sure.
Would I be surprised if Chicago won? No, but with getting 3 points in a pick'em game, I'm loving that right there.
Yeah.
Next up, I think this is one of the more interesting lines. We've got Carolina at Dallas. Dallas coming off that beatdown against the Eagles, which I think a lot of people, myself included, did not see coming. Dallas is a 5-point favorite at home to the Christian McCaffrey-ish less.
Yeah. Panthers.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that seems like a pretty big line to me, but I guess Dallas, they are a decent team. But speaking of another dumbass coach, Mike McCarthy, I'm not too high on this guy either, man. His clock management is fucking atrocious.
Oh, it's before halftime?
This is the second or third time already in 3 games that he's done this shit. And what I honestly attribute it to, in my opinion, is that you got Jerry Jones, who is just an overbearing owner who I feel like kind of intimidates these guys into making these dumbass decisions. They're just like, they're handcuffed. They're afraid to do anything. They're afraid to make a mistake. And so they end up doing dumb shit like that. I don't think Mike McCarthy was a great coach to begin with. But now I feel like that's the only answer I could come up with, is that he's just terrified of making a mistake. And so therefore he still makes a lot of mistakes, and dumb mistakes too. I thought watching that game, the game they had this weekend, it just seemed like against the Eagles, it just seemed like he was terrified. And then you see clock management, he's just standing there beside the referee. Even the referee's looking at him like, you about to call a timeout?
Right.
And he's like, no, I'm a dumbass. And they're like, oh, I forgot. Yeah, you're a dumbass. We totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
of course you don't want a timeout with one of the most explosive quarterbacks in the NFL. Give him a chance to put some points on the board. Yeah,
I couldn't agree with you more, but let's take a second to give the Cowboys some credit. I mean, they drafted heavily on the defensive side of the ball this year. I think their first 6 draft picks were all on the defensive side, which we knew was going to be the case, and it looks like it's paying off.
Dan Quinn, I think, does a lot for that. He's obviously legitimized that defense, and I feel like he's a really good coach. But yeah, Dallas -5, shit. That's a tough one.
I mean, keep another thing to keep in mind, Carolina just traded for C.J. Henderson. They got rid of Arnold, their tight end. They traded him for Henderson. How quickly is he going to be? I think a cornerback, the playbook isn't quite as important. I think he can play this week. Yeah.
We'll see, man. I would probably still take Dallas, but I just feel like that spread is really high, man.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to take Carolina with the points. It's a slight lean that way for me.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe Dallas will prove me wrong 2 weeks in a row. We'll see.
Yeah.
All right, we got the New Orleans Saints actually playing in New Orleans for the first time this year against the Giants. New Orleans is a 7.5-point favorite.
That's a big ass spread too, but the Giants are terrible. I would take the point. I would take New Orleans there. I think that they will end up winning by double digits.
Yeah, for sure. I like New Orleans to cover. I like it a lot better teased down. So I'm going to tease New Orleans down to 1. Pair it with that game that I mentioned earlier. So here's your teaser bet for the week. We're 3 of 4 on this show, by the way, with teaser bets. And the only fucking teaser that we lost was because TJ Watt got hurt. Yeah. And there were a couple Steelers that got hurt an hour before the game that nobody knew about, Devin Bush and Joe Hayden. That's the only teaser we've lost on this show, folks. So we're hitting these pretty good. Again, to recap, Cincinnati teased down 6.5 points, paired with New Orleans teased down 6.5 points. Both of those teams now just need to win the game by 1 or more. New Orleans, Cincy, 6.5 point teaser. Love it. All over it this week for sure. Next, we got Cleveland, your Cleveland Browns, Chad, at Minnesota.
Yeah, that's a tough game, man. I think this is going to be tougher than what we thought when it opened, even though Cleveland only opened as 1-point favorites. It's up to 1.5, anywhere from 1.5 to 2.
Yep.
Now, this is going to be a tough game for the Browns, man. I feel like sometimes the Browns' problem, I think, is consistency. With Baker Mayfield, especially. I was talking two of my brothers are in town, and one of them's a huge Browns fan, and we were talking about this. I just feel like Baker Mayfield isn't as consistent as he needs to be a top-tier quarterback in the league. I feel like he can get there. There's times when he just looks absolutely amazing, and he can make every single throw, and then there's times when he's missing things here and there, and you're just thinking like, come on, dude, put it together. But win's a win. We won last week. This game, man, I don't think I would touch this game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think I agree. This is going to be a good live betting game, though. I think we're going to know a lot more in the first quarter than we know now. I'm not going to personally do this, but this is a decent teasing opportunity when you've got a home team in the Vikings at +2, and you can tease them up through the 3 and the 7. That's part of what's called the Stanford-Wong teaser leg. And if you don't know what the Stanford-Wong is, make sure you Google that and look that up. It's mathematically a good way to win some money. So you could tease Minnesota up through the 6 and the 7. I'm probably not going to do it. And the reason I'm not is because Cleveland's got Minnesota's former offensive coordinator, Kevin Stefanski, and he knows Kirk Cousins better than most people on earth. Mm-hmm. And that's who they're up against. Yeah. So I definitely like Cleveland. I'm not going to touch it though, but if I had to, I'd go Cleveland there for sure.
Yeah.
Chad, this is an interesting spread here. We got Buffalo at home against Houston, one of the best teams in the league. You got to consider Buffalo one of the top 3 teams in the league, and arguably the best team in the NFL right now. Buffalo at home facing Houston, who may or may not have Tyrod Taylor. I saw this line open at 17.5, and I grabbed it real quick because I knew it wasn't going to last. And I was right. It's down to 16.5 now. Who do you like here?
I would take Buffalo with this. I do think that they're going to cover that, honestly. I think they're going to beat the hell out of Houston. Was it David Mills? Still? What the hell?
Yeah, Mills.
He's going to be the quarterback, most likely. I wouldn't put any money on them to cover that. So I would take Buffalo with this. I think that they're going to be able to beat them by 2 or 3 touchdowns.
I mean, they sure have the last couple weeks for sure. I never take the favorite on these big spreads like this ever.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
And so, but I like it a lot more at 17.5 on the Houston side than I do 16.5. But still, if you put a gun to my head, I'd take Houston 16.5 as well for sure. Here we go. Tennessee at the Jets. 7.5 point favorite. The Titans are laying 7.5 on the road to the Jets. Yeah. I might surprise you here. I'm going Jets, and I like it at 7.5. Yeah. I like that hook on the 7 to get that extra half point. At some point, the Jets are going to wake up. I think it could be this week against the Titans because I think people are a little too high on the Titans right now.
Yeah.
That defense is still bad.
Yeah.
People don't realize how bad the Titans defense is unless you've watched them play a couple games. The Jets defense is reasonable. It's not that bad. It's their offense that's the problem. And at some point, that offense is going to click. And I think that it could be this week because I think Wilson's going to have some time to throw this week.
Yeah.
The Titans don't have a pass rush that scares you. And if Wilson gets a clean pocket, I think he's going to be okay. And I'm not touching this game for survivor purposes. It's going to be really tempting to take the Jets. To take the Titans to beat the Jets. I think this is an upset alert, and I'm going to go with the Jets to cover 7.5 here.
Yeah, the AFC South is like the new NFC East this year, whereas someone please win the division because it's going to be like that. Obviously, I think Tennessee's probably going to end up winning that, but Indianapolis, Houston, I mean, those are just shit.
Yeah.
Jacksonville. I mean, God, that's the worst division in football this year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would touch this game. 7.5 seems like a lot to me, but I'm with you. I wouldn't be surprised if Zach Wilson has a big game going against that Tennessee defense. It's at home. It will eventually click for them. I think he will eventually show some glimmers and give some of that fan base a little hope going into next year.
Yep.
But 7.5 just seems like a lot to me.
Agreed. This next one, I want to talk about this for a little bit. We've got the Eagles at home getting 7.5 points to the Chiefs, okay? When I encourage people to think like a bettor, I try to think of opportunities where the public is influencing these lines and the way the public thinks in ways that are illogical. And when you see something that doesn't make sense, perhaps because of that public influence, that's a time to pounce on these lines, okay? So here's a great example of it. Tell me if this makes sense. The Chiefs opened as 6.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
Okay. The Eagles get embarrassed on Monday night. The Eagles are coming off short rest on Monday night against the Cowboys. And that line only moved 1 point.
That's crazy.
After that, I think the Chiefs are going to cover, and I think the Chiefs are going to blow Philadelphia out. Now, the Chiefs are terrible at covering spreads, okay? They're not good at it all. They win games. They're terrible ATS. But I think that in this spot here, I think they're going to cover. I think Philadelphia is a mess right now.
I agree with you. I think they're a mess. And you got Andy Reid making his return to Philadelphia, which will be a nice storyline. But yeah, I think Kansas City wins this going away. The Eagles looked like hell on Monday night against the Cowboys last week. Did not, inspire me whatsoever, inspire confidence. I would go ahead and take Kansas City with this. But yeah, I agree with you. They are terrible against the spread because, in my opinion, that defense is so terrible.
Yeah, for sure. And let's give us a little credit, Chad. Let's pat ourselves on the back here because last week we told folks that the Chargers had a good chance to upset the Chiefs.
Yep.
Nobody else was thinking that.
No.
Everybody else was like, come on, Andy Reid.
I was pretty confident in that decision, honestly.
You and I both were, man. And we nailed that. We told people to stay away from it in your survivor pools. And we padded our bank accounts this week, which was nice for sure. Thanks to the Chargers coming through. Austin Eckler had another touchdown.
Yeah, another touchdown, man. Yep. I saw that.
We told you guys he was going to have a big season.
Dude, he's doing great right now. He's running for about 50 to 60 yards a game, catching about 50 to 70 yards worth of catches and passes and stuff. Always getting a tight scoring, and every week, man, he's going to have a big year, man, our guy.
Yep, absolutely. Next game on the docket, we've got Indianapolis getting 1.5 right now on the road at Miami. Miami's got Jacoby Brissett, who I thought looked damn good last week. Is he the best backup quarterback in the league?
He probably is, yeah.
I mean, I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of another one right now, but he looked really good. The guts that he showed on fourth down, diving in the end zone there against the Raiders and forcing overtime. My respect for Jacoby Brissett grew. Now he faces his old team. I believe in the revenge factor. I think this week, Jacoby Brissett is probably going to be spending even more time on film. He's probably going to be spending even more time working out. He's probably going to be spending even more time preparing for this game because he wants it bad, I assume, against his old team. When this opened up as a 1-point favorite, I grabbed it. And I took Miami -1. It's up to -1.5 and 2 in some places. They're laying 2 points. I like Miami a lot in this one. Quentin Nelson for the Colts is hurt with an back or ankle injury. I forget which. He's day-to-day, so we're not sure if he's going to play. But either way, I like Miami here.
Yeah, I'd take Miami as well. I don't think that's too big of a spread. I think they're going to win that game.
For sure. Next, we've got Washington at Atlanta, one of the bigger stinker games of the week.
Shit, this should be easy. I'm going to take Atlanta. That's enough.
You like Atlanta?
Yeah, I'm going to take Atlanta. I think that they can. I just don't really care for Washington. I'm not a big Ron Rivera guy either. I would take Atlanta here.
Yeah, I'm going to go Washington here. I liked it more when it was laying a point. Now that it's laying 1.5, I'll still take Washington here. I just think that their quarterback, Atlanta's quarterback, is washed, man. I think he's washed up. I think he might be done.
I said that 2 years ago, honestly, and I definitely thought that, they had Kyle Pitts there. You got to kind of take him when he's there, but I felt like they should have probably used that on a first-round quarterback. They need to have something. Just like Washington, both these teams should have taken quarterbacks last year, and neither of them did. And they're going to be shitty organizations for a couple of years because of it. Yeah,
Washington was overrated coming into this season. One of the reasons they were so overrated was because of that defensive line. And I think Washington is going to be a team this year that you can predict how they're going to do based on how good the other team's offensive line is. And Atlanta's offensive line is not good. That's why I think they're going to win this game. Giants' offensive line was not very good, and that's why they did well in that game. And so keep in mind the other team's offensive line. I'm going to go Atlanta here, -1. Next up, we've got the 49ers at home laying 2.5 or 3 points to Seattle. Love the Niners here at home.
Yeah, same. Seattle doesn't look like looks like a team that's on the downswing. I feel like they only win 6 or 7 games this year. That talk about trading Russell Wilson is going to get louder and louder. I don't see how he can be happy if they win 6 or 7 games this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he demands a trade at the end of the season. But yeah, I'm going to go San Francisco at the 2.5 to 3.
Yeah, these games are always fun to watch, by the way. It may end up being a close game. I just really like the Niners here to cover coming off that embarrassing Sunday night loss to the Packers. They're going to be extra motivated. And Seattle's defense is terrible. They looked really bad against Derrick Henry. And I'm not saying Trey Sermon is as good as Derrick Henry, but he has a similar bruising type style. And if Sermon can look 70 70% of what Derrick Henry did against Seattle. I think it's going to be a big day for the 49ers for sure.
Yeah.
Next up, we've got
big game.
Yeah, for sure.
Can't wait for this.
Yeah, we got the Rams at home against Arizona. They're currently laying 4.5 or 5 points to the Cardinals.
I like Arizona, man, but I would take the Rams and the points, man. 5. I think they're going to win by at least a touchdown. The Rams team looks like they're clicking on all cylinders. I told my brother the other night that I think it's going to be NFC. It's going to be the Rams and the Buccaneers this year, and that's going to be I think we saw a preview of that this last week. I don't think it's going to be as lopsided when they do meet again, but the Rams look like a tough-ass team right now.
Yeah, for sure. Well, here's what worries me about the Rams long-term. They've got a lot of good ones. They've got a lot of good starters, but they've got no depth. So if they have injuries, that team's going to be in trouble more so than most teams. So that'll be an interesting thing with an extra game added to the season. When this opened at 6, I bought a 0.5 point, and I took Arizona at 6.5. I feel good about that. I won't touch it here at 4.5 or at 5. I think if you like Arizona, your opportunity has passed because that number has dropped at this point. I will say this though: the Rams have owned the Cardinals these last couple of years, and I don't really see an opportunity for Arizona to win this game. But I don't think the Rams are going to blow the Cardinals out either. I think the Cardinals can do some things on offense to keep up with the Rams.
Yeah, going to be a good game for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. This next one's interesting here. Denver, 1-point favorites. At the Ravens. The Ravens.
It's at Denver.
Excuse me. Baltimore at Denver. Thank you. Denver's a 1-point favorite. The Ravens are just a tough team for me to figure out.
Yeah, they really are, man. I feel like they're just inconsistent. They had that big lead on Detroit going into the halftime last week, and then just looked like hell the rest of the way. Was gifted a game there that's going to come back to bite either the Bengals or the Browns in the ass. I can guarantee you that. There's no way I don't see that happening unless Baltimore just implodes. But dude, I'm gonna be a little crazy here. I'm gonna go with Denver.
Yeah, I'm not touching this game. If I had to, I would take Baltimore with the point. This is just the first game that Denver has faced a real opponent because their schedule has been so soft the first few weeks. I think we're going to learn a lot in this game. This is definitely the best pass rush that Teddy Bridgewater has faced in the first 3 games of the season. So until Teddy proves that he can do it against a good team, I'm going to have to take the Ravens here. Harbaugh likes the blitz. I mean, the Ravens defense likes the blitz a lot, and Teddy might have his hands full. But as a fan, I'd like to see Denver win the game. I'm not sure if they can for sure. I will say this: I believe this is the Ravens' second game in a row on the road. And so that's not really an easy spot to be in. You're playing in that mile-high air. So we'll see how that one goes.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh at Green Bay. The Packers coming off that epic comeback against the 49ers on Sunday night. The Steelers, bro, Roethlisberger needs to hang up the cleats.
Yeah, they look bad, man. You see a guy for the Bengals, a couple guys said that the Steelers gave up. They said that you saw drops by Chase Claypool and Najee Harris in the late in the fourth quarter. He said they gave up. Would love to talk to our buddy Zach Vanner and get his opinion on that. But Pittsburgh, man, there's another team that I felt like probably should have drafted a quarterback last year. You got Washington, Atlanta. And Pittsburgh. I think those are 3 teams that should have definitely use their draft capital to get a quarterback. They didn't do that, and now they're going to have 2 or 3 year transition. This is what's going to happen unless they were able to go out and sign somebody, make a trade for Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson or something like that. This is going to be a program that's going to be in flux for the next few years, in my opinion, because they didn't look ahead, and now they're kind of staring down the barrel of a gun. They don't look great. And I think it's only going to get worse this week when they're going up against the Packers. I would take the Packers in the 7 points. I think that's going to be at least a 10-point victory.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Do you know how many fucking targets Najee Harris had last week?
No.
19, Chad.
Jesus.
And it's not because Najee Harris is the next Christian McCaffrey. It's because that's all Ben Roethlisberger can do is check downs to the running back.
Yeah, because he doesn't have the arm strength, I don't think, to go deep. And he's one of the more talented players on their roster. That's not a whole very talented roster, in my opinion. When Juju Smith-Schuster is your best wide receiver, I don't think you have a best wide receiver.
I think the Steelers are a team to fade from this point forward. So keep that in mind for sure. And then we got this epic Sunday night matchup, folks. We got Tampa Bay 6.5 or 7-point favorites in some places. Make sure you always shop around when you're getting at that number 7. It's so important. 6.5 or 7 on the road at New England.
Yeah, I think that New England's going to stick in this game for longer than most people think, probably for 3 quarters. Then I think the talented roster of the Buccaneers is going to take over, and they're going to end up winning this game. 6.5, 7. It's still kind of large, man. I think that it'll be a close game. I would take New England with this in terms of I think they're going to get beat by less than 6.5 points.
Yeah, the Patriots intrigue me at 7. If it goes to 7.5, which it might, then I might have to buy a little bit on the Patriots here. Just like I said with Stefanski, when you've got someone who knows that quarterback so well. Yeah. I mean, I know Brady doesn't have many weaknesses, but Belichick knows him so well. I think that's an interesting angle. I took Tampa at 5.5 though, because I figured this line was going to go up and I can create a nice middle opportunity for myself on Sunday night. So I took Tampa at 5.5. That number is no longer available. I would not take the Patriots unless it goes up to 7.5. Yeah,
same. I understand that, but I think New England's going to keep this close, man. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think that Tampa Bay will end up winning, but I think it'll be like by 3 or 4.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
And the promotions for this game. They got Adele doing the
oh God,
the fucking Great. Adele song to promote this song on TV.
Can't wait.
It's going to be fun. All right, last game. We've got Las Vegas at the Chargers.
Game of the week, in my opinion.
Oh, it's going to be so fun. We're going to learn so much about these two teams in
Both
this game.
Yep.
Who's for real in the AFC West, which is maybe the best division in football or the second best division in football. 3.5 points for the Chargers. They're laying 3.5 points. Chargers are a favorite.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chargers here. I think Herbert is going to take that next step. You know, you remember when Patrick Mahomes was doing that celebrity golf tournament this year, and someone said to him, "Watch out for Justin Herbert."
Yeah.
And he fucked up the cliche, but he said, "I'll see it when I believe it," or some shit.
Yeah.
Well, he saw it on Sunday, man, and that guy's going to be a terror to deal with. Like I said, Kansas City is going to be a team that's going to struggle this year a little bit. More so than they have in the last few years. Their offensive line isn't the greatest. Their defense is fucking atrocious.
Yeah.
I can see them losing 5, maybe even 6 games this year. They're 1-2 right now. They're looking up at the Raiders and the Chargers in the division, and the Broncos as well.
Yeah.
So
they're going to get hot at some point, I think. And they just got Josh Gordon too. That'll be interesting. But I agree. I'm not betting them for a while.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. But looking at this game, I think the Chargers now, man, I think they're going to be the team that I think we said it weeks before the season even started that we like the Chargers as a dark horse to win the AFC West. And it looks like we were right on the money. And this game's going to go a long way in determining that. This game's at home for the Chargers. It's going to be a Monday night game. Huge crowd, huge build up to this game. I like the Chargers, man. I think that they're going to be able to showcase some of that talent they have. Our boy Austin Eckler is going to be having a good game, I think. And I would take the Chargers here. I think they're going to cover.
Yeah, I took the Chargers at 3. It went up to 3.5. I am not touching it at 3.5, though. It's a stay away game for me. I think the opportunity has passed. Again, I mean, 15% of NFL games end by exactly 3 points. So when you're losing that half point, that hook, it's a big deal. So if you can still get it for 3, or if that number goes back down, go ahead and take the Chargers. We're going to see if Vegas is for real. They've proven me wrong a couple times this year, though. Vegas has. We'll see if they can do it again. What a great slate of games this week, man.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun. I'm going to be in Vegas again, watching the games in the sports books out there, and I can't wait, man. Week 4 is going to be a blast.
We might have to change your nickname from Daytona 500 to Tony Vegas Pinky Ring Farmer. You know, if you come back here with a pinky ring,
there, man. I love it out there.
If you come out here with a pinky ring, I'm fucking quitting the show.
Well, man, on a serious note, man, I have a blast talking with you about the NFL Week 4. But what a great show, man. We had some great interviews today as well.
Awesome show, man. I got to talk to Mike Rhoades, David Riley, both head coaches of mid-majors. VCU no longer a mid-major. We can stop calling them that. With the teams that they play and the teams that they've beaten and the success that they've had, they're not a mid-major in my opinion. They're kind of looking like the new Gonzaga in my opinion. They're going to be a team that's going to 5 years from now, 10 years from now, we're going to be like, oh, remember when, before they were on anyone's radar and stuff. And so it's awesome to talk to Coach Mike Rhoades, get him on the program, become friends with him, because we want to talk to this guy when, in my opinion, they can make a big run in the NCAA tournament this year. I wouldn't be surprised if they're in the Elite 8, Sweet 16, something like that. So awesome to talk to him. Such a motivating guy, man. We were juiced up, ready to go. Yeah,
and Coach Riley was fun to talk to as well. It was interesting to me. I like when he said, like, I don't have the brain to be like drawing up crazy plays in these very specific situations. I like that he was candid and admitted that. He's a new head coach, and he didn't try to like come in there like sounding like he was, more prepared than he was. was. He was really honest about that. This is what we do. We have the same plays. We run them, but we run them really, really well. I appreciated his candidness here. Really, really awesome interview with him too.
A great guy that was a great X's and O guy that I always loved and admired, obviously, was the former coach at the University of Michigan, John Beilein, and he could literally draw up a play to get anybody, any type of shot, anywhere on the floor at any juncture in the game. And he was a guy that could do that. Coach Riley's not that guy, and I think he's he admitted that, and that was awesome for him to say that. He's not trying to say he's someone he's not, but that was awesome to hear. Awesome to talk to those guys. Couldn't be more excited. It's going to be awesome college basketball season this year, wide open in my opinion. No one who had Baylor winning it last year, So
exactly.
So great interviews. Can't wait to get them back on again at some point too.
Absolutely. Chad, can you tell folks about OddsShark on our way out of here today?
Yeah, definitely. OddsShark is your source for the latest odds from leading authorities, expert editorial content, and detailed matchup picks. Are you looking for statistics and trends for an upcoming game? OddsShark has that too, and it's free. In-depth expert analysis, stats, numbers, and trends to help you make the sharp game day picks. Whether you want to check out tonight's football odds, this week's hockey or basketball trends, or anything in between, head on over to OddsShark and start thinking like a shark today. That's where we got all of our numbers at from this from our betting segment here. Make sure you go there, you're shopping around, you're getting the best deal. Right?
Yep.
Yep. Sure. Yeah. Make sure you give us a follow on all of our social media platforms. We are at DNP-CD Sports. On Twitter, we are at DNP-CD Show. Make sure you check out hotpiemedia.com. You can view all of our past episodes. Check out some of the other awesome shows.
Thumbs up on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button right now if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah. Follow us on Twitter as well, man. That's where we're on there a lot. We're always putting our opinions and funny shit on there and stuff like that. So give us a follow at DNP-CD Show. It's a great episode. We appreciate you guys listening. Thanks for watching. Please tell your friends about the show. We'll be back next week with another awesome guest. For Tony, I'm Chad. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Thanks for listening. You can find more episodes and all of our other Hot Pie Media originals baked fresh daily at our home online at hotpiemedia.com, the Hot Pie Media YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to podcasts.